Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll get into functions. So a function in Python is a set of instructions. In my terms of view, it's like a small program inside a program. So for example, a set of instructions. So let's say print hello world, and this is one instruction. And now if we create one more instruction, say print yo, and this is two instructions. So this is a set of instructions. Now if I group all of these set of instructions, and then it'll become a function. So it's a set of instructions and you can use that function whenever you want. So it's like a small code inside a whole bigger code. So to make a function, you type def, so define, and then you type the name of the function. So let's say the name of the function is function. So let's name the function function, and let's say function 1. So the name of the function is function 1, and then we type two brackets, so parameters. So now in these brackets, sometimes you will need a few parameters while taking functions, but in this case we don't. We'll get into creating parameters for functions in the next after a few moments. So let's just first go with empty brackets, and now put a colon at last and then hit enter. And now I told you about indentation in my if video, while video, and for video. Indentation just tells Python how much is in it. So for example, if I type something here and hit enter and something here, and then hit enter and put something here, so this much is a part of this function and this much is not a part of this function. So this is outside the function. So this is the body. So as long as in this line, so as long as in this line, it is a part of the function. So for example, that is indentation. It's normally 4 spaces. You can also hit tab, so just hit tab to go there. And now let's type print hello, and we'll rename this function 1. Let's just give it a better name. So let's say introduction. So we created a function named introduction, and now in introduction it says print hello. So now we can run this function just by typing introduction and then 2 brackets, and this will run the function. So if I just left click, run Python terminal, it types hello. Now if I don't have this, it won't do anything, as so you can see it didn't do anything here. But last time when I did have introduction and brackets, it did print hello. So whenever you type introduction, name of the function, so introduction is the name of the function, and then 2 brackets, and this will launch or run this function. So everything you put in here. So function can also be useful for that. So suppose I type a lot of commands in here, for example print hello everybody, or many things, say something and all, like a lot of print commands in here. Now suppose I use this, I'll have to type all of this again and again every time I want to print all of these. But instead of that, I can just put all of these in a function and run the function whenever I want. So it makes life way more easier. So let's run this and see, and we can see it printed all these 3. And suppose we can run it again if you want. Introduction, and now it printed twice as I've written introduction twice. So now I can call it whenever I want. So whenever I want, I can print these three print commands. So this is about functions. And now you can also put things inside these brackets. So inside these brackets, it will take input from the user. So let's say X. So it will take input X from the user. And now let's say print X. And now if I run this function, it will give me an error if I just put two brackets. If I just put two brackets, it will give me an error because it's expecting one parameter here, that is X. So if there's nothing between these brackets, you don't need to put nothing. You don't need to put anything. But if there is something, so there's X here, you need to put something. So you can put anything now. So let's say 10. And now since I've said print X, so I call this function and it's going to print what I entered. So I said X here, and now it's printing that same X. So I created a variable X here, and now it's printing that variable out X. So if I run Python terminal, it says 10 here. And now whatever I typed in here, so suppose I type 5, it says 5. So whatever I type in here will be equal to X, and thus I'm printing X out. And now we can also use the return command to give, it just gives output back to this function. So it returns the answer to this in this function. So to take that input, to take that return, let's create one more variable. So let's name it y, and we write y is equal to introduction 5. So now that return is going to be equal to y. So if there's any return, it will be put into this variable y. So return commands do not print into the terminal, they get returned back to the function. And to make use of it, you can assign it to a variable. And now we can print y just by typing print y and run Python terminal. And we get 10, which is 2 into 5. And that's how we use the return command. And now you can also do more, such as you can put 2 here. So let's say x comma y, and instead of introduction, let's change this to something like add me. And now let's change this to add me. And now we need, so since there's x comma y here, so let's change this. So we're all, let's change this to h because we're using y here. So now we're taking two inputs instead of one input. So before we had only one input x, now we have two inputs x. So now when we call this function, we need to put two inputs in there. So let's say 5 comma 6. So now x is equal to 5, which is the first input, and now I put a comma, and 6 is equal to y, which is the second input. And now we can put as many inputs as you want, but while running the function, you need to put that many inputs, or else it's going to give you an error. So now let's return. So instead of returning 2 into x, what we'll do is, instead of returning 2 into x, we'll do something cooler. We'll write return x plus y. And now it's going to add both of these. So let's add x is equal to 5 here, and y is equal to 6. So it's going to add 5 plus 6, which is 11 because of the return command, and it's going to add 5 to 6, and it's going to return this. And now when it returns it back to this function, it will become equal to h, and then we print h out. So thus we should get 11 printed out. So we run Python terminal, and we get 11 here. So You can put even more, let's say Z. You put as many of them. So you create variables by using functions, and functions are really useful when you want a set of instructions. You're going to use some instruction again and again. So when you're using them again and again, for example, you have a code, for example, a game. And now in a game, one thing you do a lot is clear the screen. And now instead of typing the code for clearing the screen again and again, you can just put that code for clearing the screen in one function and just type that function whenever you want to clear the screen. And it makes life way more easier when you have a set of instructions and you want to run it again and again. So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching and bye.